Happy 2024, everyone. This is my first Thoughtload of the new year, and it's your host, Nico. Today, I'm going to be talking about decision-making in business. Now, this can also relate to your personal life as well, but I've heard a lot of things recently from family members and close friends about certain situations happening in their working environment that I wanted to touch on. For me, business should be a collaboration of ideas where people are constantly making small adjustments and changes for the benefit of the business, even if that makes the person that brings that idea to light, even if that idea makes them look bad. Now, I just read a LinkedIn article by John Maddox that I'll link in the description here. And he says some really important, really powerful things. One of the things he mentions is, as a society, we're conditioned to search for all the reasons we are wrong first, and not why it's the right option. And I think that's powerful. There's tons of businesses out there that are just doing things the same way they have been doing, and anytime they're presented with a new option, they think it's wrong, simply because it's not what they were doing before, or maybe it's foreign to them. I think a great example of this is what we saw happen during COVID. And for me personally, this was incredible. During COVID times, I was working in state government, and most of us did not have a fully remote work schedule. Now, some of us had remote work some part of the week. It was like a mixed schedule where we went into the office sometimes and then sometimes a couple of days of the week at home. But primarily it was most of the time in the office. But when everyone was forced to make a decision, we moved to remote work. And lo and behold, it was actually great. A lot of people loved it. Sure, there were some downsides to it, but productivity stayed the same. And heck, I heard in certain industries it went up. And so why did it take so much time, and why did it take such a major shift globally for people to move to something that was more efficient? Now, I don't know the answer there. Was it ego? Was it maybe someone that was lower ranked in a company suggested the idea of remote work to upper management, and upper management thought it was stupid or thought the person was stupid? I don't know the reason. But when I zoom out and look back, I think that all these businesses just wasted time. If businesses could have increased productivity by going to remote work 10 years ago or 5 years ago, they would have had that increased productivity back then and not now. So why? I always why? I don't get it. And I guess part of that is maybe it is ego. Maybe it is what John Maddox mentioned about us always looking at why things are wrong. But in the article, John Maddox also goes on to say that studies have happened for almost a century that consistently show that our gut reaction is generally correct 90% of the time. And since those reactions are happening in the blink of an eye, the time spent looking for reasons why we're wrong becomes harder to justify. Now, that's not to say that we should never ask for second opinions or get different perspectives. I definitely think, and he agrees, that any major decision in your own personal life or in business, you need multiple perspectives. But if you're a business owner and you go around to your company and you ask 20 people if remote work is going to be a good thing, and 19 of those 20 people say yes, it might be a good idea to at least try it. And I think the one thing that slips people's minds is that you can always go back. You can always change. Now, is that more work? Might that be a pain in the ass? Yes. But here's the thing. What happens if you make that change to remote work in this case? What happens if you make that change and it goes well? oh no, the business does better. Like, I don't understand. Why is it that certain people cannot accept change, or at least be okay with listening to different ideas? I have a family member who's an executive in a company, and one of their clients is difficult. And for many years now, them and I have been talking about different solutions to the problem and things like that. And I mean, there's a pretty clear solution. And the funny part is they're talking about that solution now when I suggested this years ago. So how is it that someone that's not even in the company can see these things, but someone who's leading the company can't? If you're a business owner, or even if you're not, it doesn't matter. Use this same type of principle in your personal life. If you have talked to different people about a topic, if you've gained different perspectives, if you've done the research and you feel in your core that a certain change is good for the company or good for yourself, do it. The worst thing that can happen is that you have to revert back to where you were before. Now, what's probably going to happen is you'll make that change. Things will start to happen, and you may have to tweak certain things here and there. That's normal. That's a part of the process. That's a part of any process. I imagine when businesses first started using email, lots of people that were old timers and only used phones and letters and whatever they thought email was the devil, or they didn't want to use it because, I don't know, name a stupid reason. But now email is like an integral part of how we communicate. And it's something that helps people do business faster. But we could have had that earlier if people were so put off by the idea of something new. These new ideas are always going to be a little uncomfortable. But I would urge anyone who's looking to make a change in their business or in their personal life to accept some level of discomfort and try and be comfortable with that discomfort. Making a change to lose weight is going to require some discomfort. Making a change to have a tough conversation with a loved one is going to require some discomfort. But the changes that come out of those conversations or those actions are well worth the discomfort and are well worth the change. So I urge you to read the article, as well as some of the other articles and books that John Maddox mentions in the LinkedIn article, and see if this applies to your personal life. And listen, no one's perfect. I know I've said that a billion times before, but I want to keep reiterating that. I'm not the best at everything, but I'm learning from mistakes just like I think all of us are. And if there is one person that I can help avoid some of these mistakes, then these recordings are a good thing. Guys, I hope you had a wonderful start to the new year. I hope you're making progress on any of the goals that you've written out for the new year. And I'll see you next week for another Thought Load. Guys, have a great week. Join us next week for another Thought Load. And as always, begin the duel, win the day.